What's going on, fight fans? It's your favorite trio, Crucial Critics. Back with another one. I'm Tim.
Rob,
I'm wrong.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got a real good one in here today, fellas. We wanted to
man,
start
hey,
off.
hey, 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 hey.
Okay. Yeah.
It's three of us, man. Three guys, man. Three-piece dinner, man. Uh, we got a left hook on the side, right hook on the side, an uppercut, man. However you want it, but hey, it's a three-piece special for sure.
Yeah. All right. Now here recently, man. Both we're gonna start out by talking about Spence Crawford and Earl Spence. The fellas, man, they scored each other's boxing inside the ring game, man. They scored each other. They gave each other scorecards. So what we're gonna do here today is that we're going to give the scorecards that they gave each other, and we're gonna give you what we think about the scorecards and what we give the fighters. And I am talking about Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence. If you guys didn't know by now, go ahead, take us away, Ron.
All right. So to start off, man, we got footwork. We got Errol Spence giving Crawford a 7, and Crawford giving Errol Spence a 6. Let me know what you guys think about that and what scores do you have. Let's start with you, Tim.
Yes, sir. All right. So Earl Spence got the 6, Crawford got a 7. I could see how Crawford would give Earl a 6. I thought Crawford's might. I thought Earl would have gave Crawford a little bit more credit on this part. Uh, Crawford can spin. You know, he can box. He can box a little bit. I thought Crawford would at least got maybe an 8 in this category. Earl, man, I want to say Earl could have got about a 7 or an 8. Man, I think that how we look at footwork, a lot of times we look at it as far as like boxing, like Devin Haney or maybe a Floyd. You know, when he would box more as Pretty Boy sometimes. Uh, but I think that Earl Spence, he spins a lot. He can fight in the pocket. I think his footwork is pretty good as well. I think Crawford. I think they underrated each other both on the footwork aspect. Go ahead, Rob.
Man, bro, I'm gonna piggyback what you said, bro. My score is I'm gonna go one up for each. I got Terrence Crawford with an 8, Earl with a 7. It's just, and that to me comes off of just because Bud moves so much more. Earl might have, he just, that's not his, we haven't seen nobody make him put him on his back foot and move, so we don't know. He probably got just as good as footwork as Bud, but, as far as from what we seen, going off of that, I got Bud with an 8, Earl with a 7. What's up, Ron?
Man, that's crazy because I was gonna go up one on for both of them as well. 7 for Spence, 8 for Crawford, maybe an 8.5 for Crawford. I think Bud being able to stop on a dime and land some of them hard shots going backwards. I give him at least an 8.5, close to a 9 on that one. I give Earl a 7, maybe a 7.5. I give him credit because he's able to cut the ring off, and a lot of guys can't cut the ring off that well in boxing these days. They follow their opponents. So I definitely will at least give him a 7. So I agree with you guys. As far as them rating each other, I do think they kind of slighted each other as well. But I guess that's just a competitive thing, or I'm just gonna say I hope they don't believe they're going into the ring. But let's move on. Let's see. As far as defense goes, which is the next category, we got Spence giving Crawford a 3.5 and Crawford giving Spence a 6 in defense.
Nah.
Let me know what you think. You go, Tim.
Nah, I think both of these guys definitely. How can I put it, man? It was the competitive nature, like Tyrone said, like Ron said, the competitive nature. I think got the best of the fellas in this category. Earl giving him a 3.5. Oh man, I can't do that, man. Crawford too good. He on a high level. I can't give him no 3.5. I think Earl was just trying to say, I think he exaggerated with the score, but I think he was trying to say Crawford does get hit with a lot of punches. So I do understand where he was going with it, but he definitely exaggerated. If it's me, give Bud 6.5 to a 7. I think on Bud giving Earl a 6, I think Earl probably would get maybe an 8. I give Earl an 8 just simply because Earl does get hit with shots, but depending on who he's fighting, he get hit with shots. Like it's depending on who he's fighting. Because against Danny Garcia, he didn't get hit. Like he made sure Danny ain't hit him with the big counter punch. But when he was fighting Sean Porter, he was in the mix, and he fought him in the pocket, and he didn't get hurt in that fight. So I think he felt his power, so he chose to fight Sean that way. Uh, Also against Ugas as well. I don't think Ugas punches was hurting early. Yeah, he got hit. He got hit and he got stumbled when he got when Ugas got the free shots. But I think overall, like he kind of nullified, the hard punches. Yeah, he got hit a couple times to the body, but I think Earl defense is sharper than Bud. So I'm gonna go with Earl with the 8. I'm gonna go Terence Crawford 6.5. What you got, Rob?
Man, I'm gonna go. I I favor Earl in this category right here, or this statistic, or you know whatever you want to call it. But I favor Earl. I got Earl with 8. No, I say a 7. I say a 7. I mean, I don't. I'm going off Floyd Mayweather setting the bar, so I'll say Earl with a 7.5. I got Bud with a 5.5, maybe. I just think Bud get hit a lot.
Yeah, explain
But
it to me, Rob. I know where you're going with it. But it's funny. Just
Bud get
go ahead.
Bud get Bud get Bud get hit too much, and I mean, and it's the reason why I say that is because Bud takes so many more chances. But Bud takes so many more chances than Earl do. So I think that's the part of the reason why you know I I think he get hit so much because of the risk taking the risk that he do take. And a lot of fighters don't take the risk like Bud take no more. So um, that's more of what it is because Bud get hit. He do get hit a lot, but he can make you miss if he want to box. But he go into fights now not want to box. He want to fight. So yeah, it depends on what Bud show up. If Bud, because the Bud against Postal, he, I mean, his defense is on like a 9 that fight right there. So it just depends on what Bud show up and what Bud want to fight because But as far as from the whole overall, I got Bud with about a 6.5, and I say Earl with I think I said 7.5 or 8. I think Earl get hit a little less than Bud do, and Bud get hit with clean shots too on the chin. He take it. He got a good chin too, but he get hit with clean shots. So I'll say Earl. What you got, Ron?
For that one, man, I got defense. I got Errol Spence with I give Errol maybe a 7.5. I give Bud maybe a 7. Or maybe I probably edge Spence closer towards an 8 because I think he relies on his defensive technique a little more than Bud. But Bud's such a sharp counter puncher, man. I would say 7. I would give him a 7 for sure. Um, Outside of that, as far as how they rating each other, man, the 3.5, man, Earl outrageous with that, man. I don't know what's going on with that dude, man, but that's crazy. Like the dude is an ace counter puncher, so he's got to be higher than the 3.5. Even though you could make the point in case that, like Rob said, with the taking risk or the way that he counter punches is more of an offensive trait. You know what I'm saying? He's just offensive on the back foot because he's gifted that way. But outside of that, man, I think if we just talking about technique and defensively sound, I'll probably edge and give Spence maybe an 8 and give Crawford a 7. I gotta at least give him a 7, man. He not no bum on defense, man. He's just an offensive minded fighter, man. So yeah, 8 for Spence, 7 for Bud for me. And our next stat is gonna be power. We got Spence giving Crawford a 6 and Crawford giving Spence a 7. What you got, Tim?
Man, I still think both these guys was. I still think both the guys were you know, being a little bit outrageous with these scores, man. Both of these guys got power. I would have thought with this one, I would have thought that they would at least respected each other, enough to to give how did, of course, Spence with the 6, man, and even Earl getting 7, like that's crazy. I think they two of the harder punches in the division. Uh, I know Sean Porter was saying that Bud, Spence is harder than Bud, but man, the way Bud been finishing people, it's hard for me to see a 6 in there. The way he's been finishing all the fighters at 147. With that being said, like I said, man, I think Earl, just his competitive nature kind of took over. And I think Bud really tried to assess him, but at the same time, man, these guys are competing against each other. I don't think they're gonna be 100%, honest about it. But from my perspective, I'm going to I got to give Earl at 147. Man, I got to give Earl probably a 9.5. And the reason why is because, man, either 9.5. I'm gonna go 8.5, 8.5 to a 9, 8.5 to a 9. And the reason being is because yes, he beats down fighters, he breaks bones, he breaks eye sockets. I agree, but it's like he don't have that one punch power, that Deontay Wilder power, and I know he's at 147, but he doesn't have like the explosiveness of a Tank Davis, to hit you one time and the fight is over. So I give Earl a 9, but he is breaking bones. If you let him hit you repeatedly, he'll get you out of there. He'll make the ref stop it. With Crawford is he's not knocking you out with one punch either. What he does is that he'll drop you one punch, he'll hurt you with one punch, and then he'll follow up with another punch to end the fight. So with Crawford, I'm gonna go probably 8.5 to a 9 as well. It's just his power is a little bit more deceptive. Like it's like he hits you with the perfect shots, man, and he gets you out of there, man. But I can't say like he's not pounding on you, but man, he hits you with the shots that he throws. He's very accurate, and he gets you out of there. No, at 147, everybody went home. I don't care the competition or not. He sent everybody packing home early. So I'm gonna give him a 8.5 to a 9. I'm gonna go ahead and tie those guys with this one. Go ahead, Rob.
Man, I got Bud in this one. I got Bud at an 8 and Earl at a 7.5. But it depends on what we're talking about. At the head, up top, I got Bud. Body shots, you got Earl. But with Earl, it's more of it's still power punches and it's still power. Even though it break you down and take a while to break you down, but it's still power at the end of the day. So, but I got Bud because Bud can. I mean, we don't see, we see what Earl did to Ugas as far as the eye, but Bud actually really hurt people to the head. He hurt people to the head. So, I'll say Bud. And I can't take nothing from Earl either. It's just they styles, I think, is what made my decision for this part of it. So I'll say that. And like I said, I got Bud, man, and I don't want to go off of how they rated each other because I think it's all just fight talk. So yeah, I got Bud in this. I got Bud in this one, man. I think he just, he when he land them, he land them. What you got, wrong?
Um, I think I got Spence for maybe like an 8, 8.5 if I was to raise it. And I want to say with Bud, I got him at an 8.5 to a 9 if I have to raise it. I would slightly edge Bud because of I much like you said, Rob. I think it's just the way that he delivers his punch. Sometimes it involves risk taking. He wings some shots, but he knows how to land it. You give him the opportunity you give him too many opportunities, he's gonna land that punch, you know. So and it's devastating. So I know Earl doesn't load up on a lot of his shots. That may have something to do with it, but yeah, I want to go with 8 to 8.5 at the highest for Earl, and an 8.5 to a 9 at the highest for Bud. Neither one of them are one punch knockout artists, like Tim said, but I mean, the way that Bud just disorients his fighters when he's hurting them, man, it's crazy. But I can't take much away from Earl, because if you breaking eyes, bro, like you breaking just not any random people eyes, like grown men eyes, bro. Like it's crazy. So it's a hard time. It's hard, man. But you know, I if we going strictly off power, being that Bud doesn't have the volume that Earl does, man. He's doing it with like selective shots. Yeah, I'll edge Bud in this one for sure. As far as their ratings, though, that's crazy to me. I don't know what they're talking about, man. They both smoking some weed or some shit. But so next we got Speed. Next we got Speed, man. We got Speed. Crawford gives Spence a 5, and Spence gives Crawford a 6.5. What you think about that, Tim?
Man, I think like we've been saying, man, I think these guys are man, what how they call it, hyperbole? They tripping right now, man, because man, come on, man, a 5 they give it. Earl got a 5, and then Crawford got a 6. Man, that's ridiculous, man. I don't think you can even be at this level with a speed of a 5, bro. I don't even think you be a boxer with a speed with a 5 for your speed, man. I don't understand. Or a 6, man. I don't think you can be on that high of a level, unless you Deontay Wilder. Like, I don't see that happening. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I definitely think they tripping. They own something, like I said, that's their competitiveness again. They got the best of both of them. With speed, of course, I'm gonna go Crawford maybe with an 8.5. I think Earl was on the money though, because I heard Earl say Crawford is more quick than fast. So I'm gonna go with a 8.5 though, because he can get those shots in. He can swing looping. That's what allows him to swing looping punches and wide punches, because of the speed and the quickness. So you got to give him a little bit more. Earl, I'm gonna go 7.5. If I had to push it, maybe 8. The way he fights, it doesn't the way Earl fights, it doesn't need as much speed to do what he does inside fighting, and he uses his jab to set up punches. So the speed is not necessarily the way he fights. That's not what he uses. So yeah, I'm gonna go with 7.5 for Earl. Give me 8.5 for Bud. What you got, Rob?
Speed. I'm gonna go with Bud again, but I mean, and see, to me, this is a irrelevant thing to me on this one, because to me, Earl is more of a rhythm fighter. He based off of rhythm, and is his speed is not speed is not really the thing for Bud. I mean Earl, because Earl he gonna mix it up. He going up and down, up and down. It's not really about speed with him. Uh, where Earl is more of a rhythm thing. He get into his I mean Bud too. Bud get into his rhythm, but Bud, like I said, they go again with the styles, because Bud will let his hands go, to where you see his hand speed on display because he letting his hands go. Um, I with Earl, see, to me, I mean, it's hard to rate Earl's speed, because he don't really fight out speed. Speed is not a thing that he really uses. It's not a big thing that he. It's not a tool for him. His thing is just breaking you down. They don't have nothing to do with speed, because he going to the body, man, and you see some of the punches coming. You can't do nothing about it. He just a bull. So. I got Bud in this one. I got a 8.5 to a 7.5. Just because, like I said, I'm not gonna take it away from Earl like he don't have speed. I just think he don't rely on speed. More of his is just a rhythm, and he like a like a jackhammer, man. He gonna keep hitting that concrete till it breaks. That's how I see Earls, and I don't think jackhammers. They don't have to be fast. It's the impact of hitting the same spot over and over. So it ain't about the speed with the thing. They do go fast, but it's not about the speed. It's the impact. So I think that's what Earl is more of an impact fighter instead of speed. So I got Bud in this category. What you got, Ron?
Yeah, man. So to react to this, yeah, the the 5 and the 6.5 is funny as hell. Of course, I'm with Tim. I don't know. I don't know no elite fighters with a 5 speed. So um, I would at least give Earl maybe a 7. I give him a 7. Um, as far as Bud, 8.5 to a 9. He's definitely more quick than fast with his punches because he doesn't really just throw too many flurries or speed type punches. They're definitely like pot shots with his counters and stuff like that. So I would say yeah, I say 8.5 to a 9. Just depends. Just depends on if he's coming forward or going backwards. With Earl, I think 7 is fair. He doesn't really too much rely on speed, so I don't think that that's necessarily a big part of his game anyway, or what if that I've seen at least. So I would say yeah, 8.5, 8.5 for Bud and a 7 for Earl. Like I said, as far as their skill ratings, man, these dudes all over the place, man. You would think these dudes never watched a fight in their damn life, but I mean, so we gonna go on to the next one. We gonna go we gonna go on to the next category, man. Punch resistance. Punch resistance. Errol Spence gave Crawford a 4, and Crawford gave Errol Spence a 7. So go ahead, Tim.
Man, again, man, this is crazy, man. Like I said again, these guys are really just. I think, man, they just saying whatever come to their mind, man. They. I don't think they was just taking everything into account. Man, none of them have been knocked out. To me, if you ain't never been knocked out, they gives you a 5 already. At least a 6, a 5 to a 6 already. Man, no. You ain't never been knocked out. They give you a 6. Now, if you ain't never hit the canvas, that gives you a little bit more. Now, Earl never hit the canvas. So I'm going to shoot Earl up to an 8 already because he never touched the canvas. Now, Crawford, I believe he touched the canvas once, if I'm not mistaken. Help me out, fellas. Was it once?
Technically with me machine, yeah.
But see, again, it could have been twice too, because I was thinking about the Cavaliers. I really think he was hurt. And he touched the canvas. Now they didn't count it, but to me, he touched the canvas in that fight.
Yeah, so, that's the one I'm talking about, Cavaliers. Yeah,
was the Cavaliers? Okay, yeah. That's what I was thinking. So I'm gonna go. Okay, that's the one. So I gotta take something away from Bud. That just with my eyes seen. I know he'll tell me something different if he heard it. I know he'll say something different. But from what my eyes seen, man, he was hurt and he touched the canvas. So I'm gonna give Earl, and then I seen Earl get hit cleanly with a 1-2. Now I know he bounced off the ropes, and technically that's supposed to be a knockdown. Technically, but it didn't seem like he was buzzed at all. And if he was buzzed, he played it off hella good, man. The way he came back in that one. So I'm gonna give Earl 10 a 9. I'm gonna give him a 9. I did see him get hurt before. I seen him get hurt before at the end of that round. I don't know how it could have went. I forgot what fight that was, but I did see Earl get hurt
Emmanuel
one time. Yeah, I seen him get hurt that one time. But I gotta go with a 9, maybe a 9.5 for Earl, just because I haven't seen it yet. And then like I said, when he did get hurt, it was off of him not paying attention, which of course is his fault. But if you get a clean shot like that, man, you're supposed to, go down. The person's supposed to go down. I don't care who you is. And on top of that, Ugas was a professional boxer. So, and he didn't go down off a clean 1-2. So I'm gonna give Earl like a 9, 9.5. Now Crawford, he touched the canvas before in my eyes. I've seen him get hurt multiple times. So, but he never got stopped. So I'm gonna give him, like I said, he getting a 6. He officially haven't went down, but like I said, in my eyes, he touched the canvas. So, and he's been hurt multiple times. So I'm gonna go. I know, man. I'm long winded. So Earl 9.5, Crawford 7.5. Rob, what you got?
Man, I like this one right here. But I got Earl in this one. I'm actually giving Earl a 10. I mean, the dude has been through all these car wrecks and stuff, man, and he take punches good. He take punches real good. We didn't see that Sean Porter. I mean, Sean Porter ain't the biggest puncher, but man, he was getting banged up by Sean Porter. Man, Danny Garcia hit him a couple times. Man, you be like, ooh, we was at that fight. So, you got. I mean, I don't count the Ugas thing. I mean, I know it's protect yourself at all times, but man, he cleared his head. I mean, he wasn't, and Ugas supposed to drop him or something. So you got to give him an extra point just for that because he didn't. His legs buckled, but that's supposed to buckle. You get hit by a professional fighter while you're not looking. You're supposed to go down. So I'm gonna give him a 10. I give Earl a 10, but I'll say a 7.5, just because I mean we have seen Bud get touched a couple times, but that show you how dangerous and resilient Bud is because I mean we see. I mean it's clear like once you hurt him or you hit him clean, he coming. He like he a different type of fighter. So we seen like I said we seen Bud get touched a couple times. I mean, but Bud got a good chin too. He's not granite like Earl's to me, but he got a good chin, a good solid chin, man. And Bud, and matter of fact, I'll give Bud an 8 because I said a 7.5. I would give him an 8 because I'll be contradicting myself because I say Bud takes so many more punches. He get hit more to say, he really haven't officially been knocked down. So I mean, I got to give him that extra little notch just because he haven't been officially knocked down. So I mean, I got Earl with a 10 just because of the shit he been through, and the dude tough as fucking nail. He tougher than man. That dude like they call it wet leather, man. That dude tough. He got a leather face, bro. That dude is tough in a mug, man. So I got Earl in this one, man. 10-8. What you got, Ron?
With this one, man, it's interesting. So, reacting to that is, of course, they slighting each other in my eyes. But so I view it as I got Earl Spence with a 9. I got him with a 9. I got Crawford with a 7.5. Much like y'all said with Crawford, he's never officially been down, but we have seen him, staggered a little bit, you know what I'm saying, kind of buzzed. We've seen that. With Errol Spence, I've seen him visibly hurt by Lardy. And of course, we know what happened with Ugas, but you got to give him credit because, like Rob said, he was caught off guard, basically, ref saying stop, and he was hit without a mouthpiece by a professional boxer. So, um, the thing what it is, the reason why I don't give Earl maybe a 9.5 to a 10 is because I have seen Earl get hit to the body in a couple of fights now, and he doesn't like it to the body. So I count that towards my punch resistance as well. And I haven't seen Bud hurt in the body, so that's what made me give Bud the 7.5, maybe even an 8, because like I said, I haven't seen him budge through body shots at all. So yeah, I would say yeah, I think that's why I'm going with it. I'm gonna go 9 for Earl Spence, and I'll go 7.5 for Bud. So next off, we got conditioning, and you got Errol Spence giving Crawford a 7.5. Crawford gives Spence a 9. What you got, Tim?
I actually think this one was A little bit better. They gave each other. They finally gave each other some credit on conditioning. Wow. What a category to give each other some credit on. Man, yeah, conditioning, bruh. I'm gonna give Earl a 9 and man, maybe a 10. Man, that dude is a machine, man. When he get to going, he don't stop, man. I only seen him visibly tired in one fight, which was the Danny Garcia fight, and that was him coming off of the layout off the car crash. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for me to even take a point away from that. But I did see him 9.5. But if you had to push me, I'm gonna say 10. Man, that dude is a machine, man. Like I said, man, that's all he do is throw punches. It's like that's all he know how to do is throw punches, get inside, throw punches. Now you can say, oh well, he doesn't box, so maybe his conditioning isn't that isn't that great. But for what he does and what I've seen visibly, the dude he coming to fight, man, and the only thing gonna stop him is the ref. So I'm gonna go 9.5, 10. Probably I want to go 10 to be honest. I think I'm gonna go 10 to be honest on that one. All right, so then we got Bud Crawford. He moves around a lot. He can box. He can fight on the inside. But the only thing is, Bud has some rounds where he takes off. Well, maybe not even takes off. He's collecting data. I want to say some of those rounds he collects data. I like the Cal Velasquez fight. He collected data, then he got hit with the big punch. Then he upped the tempo on Cal Velasquez, and he took over the fight. Sean Porter, man, I feel like he was trying to collect data a long time. Maybe he thought he was winning the fight. They told him he was losing. He upped the tempo. So, he has those fights where he boxes. He boxed a little bit more when he was at 140. He boxed a little bit more than he was at 140 than he does now. I feel like he fights a little bit more aggressively now at 147. Some of his fights don't last as long, so it's hard for me to really be like, yeah, I don't know. I see Earl go 12 a couple times. Yeah, it gets stopped, but it gets some of the fight Earl gets stopped because he banging on the person so much. So I can't take it away from there. But if you gave Crawford, I would say Crawford gets just because sometimes he take, like I said, it might be him collecting data, but he's not as busy. His work rate is definitely not as high as Earl. So I'm gonna go Crawford 8.5, Earl 10, Crawford 8.5. What you got, Rob?
I got both at a 10. I got both at a 10. We know what Earl the work rate. That's 10 off jump. His work rate is different. Bud, I haven't seen Bud physically tired in no fight. He seemed like he don't get tired. So, excuse me. I got both with a 10. Like I said, Earl is like one of them old school cars, man. That motor get to running, bro. That dude don't stop until you turn it off. Long as you got and like I said, using the analogy of an old school motor, when he came back against Danny Garcia, you seen he needed a little tune up, man. He got a little tired, I think around 9 or 10. He just took a break in that round. But I don't hold that against him because he was coming off the accident. So you can't hold that against him. And Bud, like I said, I never seen Bud. I've never even seen him look tired. He seemed like he don't get tired. I thought I just crazy this topic came up. I thought I had to rewatch the Porter fight. Had a couple times I thought he was tired, but I don't think he was tired because he was muscling Sean Porter around the ring a lot. I think that was him trying to prove to Sean that he was stronger. But that's not the point. We ain't talking about Sean Porter. But I thought he was tired in that fight, and I rewatched it twice again after I thought I seen him tired, and he wasn't tired. So I think I got both of them at a 10 because I never seen neither one of them get tired besides that one time with Spence, and that was coming off the accident. He ain't been in the ring in a while. So I got that one at the top, man. What you got, Ron?
Man, in this one, I think I'm right there with you, Rob. I think I got both for 10. Even though Bud hasn't been in a 12-round fight, and I don't know how long, outside of pretty much going there with Benavidez. He hasn't been in a 12-round fight, so I mean, it's you can question it, but that man is a year-round athlete. That man stays in shape all year round. So I know he's not gonna get to this fight with Errol Spence and not be in shape. So I got him with a 10 off the rip, off the fact that he's an active dude, man. Always in the gym. He a gym rat. So he 10 off the rip. As far as Errol Spence goes, his work rate, his motor, and his conditioning, the work that he puts in to get ready for fights. He may not be the year-round athlete like Bud is, but man, when it's time for him to go, he's in go mode. So I got both of them easily a 10 on this one. I feel like Crawford was more realistic in the 9 that he gave Errol Spence. Errol Spence giving that man a 7.5. Man, I don't know what this man talking about, man. We gonna go to the next one, man. We're gonna go to Ring IQ. We're going to Ring IQ, man. Errol Spence gives Crawford a 9. Crawford gives Spence, Errol Spence gives Crawford an 8. Crawford gives Errol Spence a 9. What you got, Tim?
Man, honestly, this might be the closest thing that I might do to agree with both of them. This might be the only category I get close to agreeing with both of them. Earl got the 8. Earl got the 9. Crawford got the 8. And I could definitely see how these guys rated this one. Man, I'm just looking at it in the ring, and I feel like I'm taking away from Crawford, but I'm trying not to. But I'm just looking at it in the ring. The dude is very smart, man. He's not a dumb fighter at all. He adjusts. I know everybody's going, man, he adjusts, he switches, blah blah blah. But like I have to take away from Crawford is that when he gets hit, he wants to fight. And coming up against the wrong opponent, that's definitely that's gonna hurt him. I mean, it hasn't hurt him eventually. In this fight, only time until we'll see. But when he gets hit, he gets hurt, he wants to fight. And that's not the smartest thing to do in the ring. So I definitely got to take off for that. But other than that, I mean, man, he switches, he adjusts. He adjusts. Sometimes I feel like maybe he adjusts maybe a little bit later on in the fight. I think him, even the Porter fight, I think kind of that punch maybe it was his IQ or reaction time, but he was actually losing that fight and he thought he was winning. So I want to give Crawford about an 8.5. I know Earl gave him an 8. I'm gonna give Crawford an 8.5 just because I got to take off of when he get hit, and I think he wasn't understanding the moment in that Porter fight. That's just me. Earl, man, it's I can't give Earl that high either. I'm gonna go Earl with probably an 8. And the reason why I'm gonna go Earl with an 8 is because we've seen in certain fights, Earl wants to make the fight. He wants to beat you at your own game. He wants to come in there and do what you do best and beat you at that. We all know the Sean Porter fight could have been a whole lot easier if that's what he wanted to do. Just like how he went about how he beat Mikey Garcia. He boxed. We've seen how smart he can be. Boxed him all night, stayed on the outside. We seen how smart he was against Danny, staying away from that left hook. Man, I just think that sometimes his Errol pride gets in the way, just like Crawford's. But I definitely think Crawford is more willing to adjust than Earl is. I think Earl wants to go in there and punish you and beat you at your game. I think Crawford is more willing to adjust. So I'm gonna give him the 8.5. But like I said, Crawford to get hit, he'll throw everything out the window. So I'm gonna go 8.5 Crawford, 8 Spence. What you got, Rob?
All right. With this one again, I think it's all styles. See, it's because of the way Earl fight. He don't have to switch hit. It's the way he fight. I don't know if him being left-handed have something to do with it, but well, against Kell Brook, like I said, with Bud, he had to switch the jab. He couldn't miss Bud with the jab, so he had to switch to left-handed. That way, excuse me, he could take Kell Brook jab away. So as far as the thinking process, I'm gonna give both of them a tie because from what we heard about the sparring with Floyd, and if you can, I'd never say somebody outthought Floyd, but you got to put your mind to work against Floyd because Floyd's setting traps and everything. So I give both of them. Floyd is the bar when it comes to thinking in the ring. Then you got Floyd. I got Andre Ward like somewhere around after Floyd. So I say that they are 8. Both of them are 8. I got Floyd. Floyd then Andre Ward probably. So I gave both of them an 8 because for me it's more. I think Earl can. I mean, yeah, Earl can think just as good as anybody, but he get the game plans. They work. All his game plans and the style, the way he fight, the way he like to, just crush people. Man, they work. He don't have to think too much. He know what he gonna do, and we seen Earl think. Earl he don't get hit by the same punches too many times. And that comes with thinking. You get hit with a straight right hand, like with Floyd, you land a punch like Shane Mosley did. He took that right hand away the rest of the fight. Landed it 2 times in the second round, and landed no more the rest of the fight. So it's more like that. And with Bud, he just it take him a little longer to figure out what he gonna do. But I think both of them, their whole thing is thinking, and it just it's kind of reaction. It's kind of a reaction more with Bud than Earl, but both of them is a reaction because Bud Earl go to the body off of a lot of what you're doing. He gonna feed off of what you're doing and know when to go to the body. He know how to go to the body good. So I think the thinking part, I'm a bit even. I can't say one is better than the other one with that because, like I said, they both of them strong-minded people. They strong will, and I don't know, man. That's one I would have to see in the ring. I would have to see that and see that with them two going against each other, trying to figure each other out. So I can't pick nobody on this one right here. I'm gonna have to stay. I ain't gonna even give them a number. I'm gonna have to stay even. I said 8, but I'm gonna have to stay even with it because, like I said, Floyd Mayweather is the bar, and it's hard to put them. I got Floyd Andre Ward, and I don't know where to put them at in there. So I'll say they just, I'll stay neutral on that part right there because it's hard for me to, with the thinking and the way both of them guys fight. But yeah, that's what I got. What you got, Ron?
I do think this was probably the most decently scored one out of them all. Um, as far as what I'm giving them, I would give both of them an 8.5 even. Both of them 8.5. Reason being because a lot of what Tim said. For one with Errol Spence, he's very keen at sticking to a game plan and executing the game plan. So I give him a lot of credit for that. But like Tim brought up with the Sean Porter, you got a guy that can bait him into a brawl because that's kind of what he wants to do by nature. He wants to fight you, so he can be baited into fights unnecessarily when he could have made it easier. As far as with Bud, the thing with him is 8.5 with Bud is because he definitely big time ring IQ. As far as following the game plan, I don't think Bud follows the game plan. I think he goes out there and freestyle what he wants to do. But I give him that 8.5 because he figures it out himself. And every fight I've watched from Bud since I've been watching him, I haven't heard much instructions in the corner in any of his fights. He's literally figuring it out on the fly. I don't want to disrespect this corner. I don't want to disrespect this corner at all, but that man is literally
Uh-huh.
in the ring figuring this shit out, like for real. So 8.5, man, he has the mind of a damn boxing coach. Like people don't give him enough credit for his IQ. And I know a lot of people, detract and say, well, he has all those tools. Why you gotta go that deep in your bag to use these tools on these lesser fighters? Well, the answer is I think it's lack of a corner presence. That's my opinion. So they should have asked that corner, like who had the best and rated each other corner. But anyway, I'm gonna say 8.
No, you don't want to do that.
I'm gonna say 8.5 for both of them, and we gonna move on to the next one, man. We gonna go to resume. We gonna go to resume. And
What's the name?
what resume you got? We gonna go to resume, man. So Crawford gives Errol Spence a 7, and Errol Spence gives Crawford a damn 0.5. Man, come on now, man. Dude, tripped. Man, go ahead, Tim.
Man, like again, man, a little bit of a lot of hyperbole on Earl's side. I think Bud kind of took away also from Earl, because I definitely got Earl resume being a little bit high, even though he's only stayed, he's only for the most part at 147, at least all his big fights. So I'm gonna go, like I said, what was the -0.5, and then Earl got a 7. The resume, we all know Earl resume. He got the big names on there from the PBC. He got Kilbrook. With Kilbrook, a little bit after the Golovkin fight, maybe two fights after the Golovkin fight. He got Porter when Porter was motivated. I ain't gonna say too much about that. The fellas know how I feel on Porter. But Porter was motivated to beat Earl. Still fighting. Still, he was a champion. Danny Garcia. We know how we feel about Danny. Danny lost all his big fights, but we know what type of fighter Danny was, and he just fought at 154. Man, the Ugas fight was the most impressive to me. I'm actually kind of happy the Pacquiao fight didn't happen, because I think he was gonna destroy Pacquiao. Pacquiao past his prime, man. So the Ugas fight was the most impressive. Man, to me, Earl just kept getting better. I mean, he got the Lamar Peterson on his resume, Chris Algieri, Mikey Garcia, and everybody. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, he was too big for Mikey." Man, but if you go look at all those interviews before that Mikey fight, man, they had Mikey beating Earl. Not after he whooped on him, everybody talk about the weight, but they had Mikey beating Earl. We know what Michael was at 140, 135, 140. So, man, if you go resume, man, I gotta give Earl a 9. Gotta give Earl a 9, and the reason why I can't give him a 10 is because of Keith Thurman. I know it ain't his fault, but that Keith Thurman would have gave me a 10 if he'd have beat Keith Thurman. Now, Terence Crawford, I gotta give, man. So Crawford overall, you gotta give him at least about an 8, a 7 or an 8, man. He did what he's supposed to do. Coming to 147, he got Jeff Horn built. He beat Kell Brook. He beat Sean Porter. We all know it was a little bit later in their careers, but you got to give him credit. He still beat those guys. He fought at the lower tier. Not lower, I'm sorry, but he fought at 140. He became undisputed down there. I'm going to be honest. Man. A lot of those fighters, man, the Ricky Burns and stuff, man, I'm going to be honest, man, we don't really know those guys like that. Like, I mean, I know Crawford was saying, man, he was a champion, blah, 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 man. You can't say that people wouldn't, people just downplaying 140 or 135 at the time, because people right now, was hyped about 140. People knows fighter. A lot of people knows those fighters at 140, 135 right now. So you can't say that people just didn't know. We just know those guys wasn't that good. But I don't want to take too much away from him. He got undisputed. So give me Crawford. Give Crawford an 8. I can, and give Earl a 9, 9.5. Like I say, Keith Thurman, Rob, my dog, at the 10. That's all I got. Go ahead, Rob. What you got?
Man, I know I kind of sound like a man. This one, I mean, it's more of a opinion for sure. This one here, it just depends on who you favor, I think. I mean, it's hard to, because you can be honest to yourself, but people might not feel the same way. So I won't grade this one too much either. It's because Earl only fought at welterweight. Well, I think he fought at 54 at the beginning of his career a couple times. But all his big wins is at one weight, and Bud didn't been a different weight. He got belts in 3 different weight classes, and when people say, oh, they didn't have he beat champions, it don't matter if this champion is better. They all champions. You beat a champion. You know, Floyd then took belts from people who, we know them now, but when Floyd fought them, a lot of people didn't know some of them guys. Um, that goes on. That's boxing, though. That's anybody. So I try not to do that with Bud. That's why I don't want to grade it too much, because you going to have to, if you don't take that into account, like Tim was saying with Ricky Burns, he was a name. If you just have to be into boxing, because he's not fighting on USA channels, you know what I'm saying? But he fighting on them channels over in the UK and stuff. That I think that's where he's from, the UK. So he fighting on them channels over there. He big over there. He was big over there. So then he got, he was undisputed at 140. Beat Gamboa. Gamboa was undefeated. He was, they were saying he had the fastest hands in boxing when he fought him, and he was undefeated too. And Bud wasn't a weight bully either. Not saying Earl is, but Bud wasn't really a weight bully. He didn't struggle making weight. He made weight easy every time. He moved up because he wanted to move up, and when he did move up, so I wouldn't judge this one. I mean, with Earl, I don't really have too much to say. I mean, because his work speaks for itself, because everything he did was at 147. So it's not nothing I don't need to hype Earl up or try to justify Earl. It's because we see everything. He been great at 147, and that's undeniable. To me, I think he's the best 147 pounder, because he beat everybody. All his big fights was at this weight. He beat everybody. So I say Earl is the best 147 pounder, but with resume, I like to stay away from that, just because, like I said, it's more of an opinion thing. And Bud beat champions to become undisputed. He beat champions to get belts in every weight class. It ain't like he fought for a vacant belt. Not that I'm aware of. He didn't fight for no vacant belt. He fought champions. He beat champions. So, I try not to take that from him. It ain't his fault these people was champion when he got there. It ain't like he picked them, was like, let them be the champions. So they was champions. So I try not to take, so I'll stay neutral with this one, just off of that alone, because I feel, like I said, Earl is the best, and his resume at 147 is better than Bud's by far. But Bud, as a whole, is more accomplished because of going to 3 weight divisions champs at them all. Then he was undisputed at 140. So that's my take. What you got, Ron?
I think Earl out his goddamn mind giving that man a 0.5. Errol Spence at a 7 is decent. I'm tough on resumes, man. I kind of I'm tough on resumes for my own reasons. I would say I would probably give Errol maybe, because I keep accomplishments and resumes separate. I try to keep those as separate things. I would say Errol Spence's resume is maybe a right now. I'd probably give him a 7, 7.5. I would give Bud at best maybe a 6. I keep the accomplishment things separate. Accomplishment wise, Bud is the more decorated fighter by far. It's not even close. As far as resume wise, I try to keep that strictly who would beat who on each person's resume, and you take like the best 3 fighters off each guy's resume, and you just match them up as far as the other guy's best 3. Being that they have 2 guys that are common opponents, I would say let's take Kell Brook and Sean Porter out of the equation. Then I would say what we would have after that. We would have Ugas, we would have Lamont Peterson, and we would have what's that? Chris Algieri. Let's say Ugas, Lamont Peterson, and Chris Algieri would
Danny Garcia.
What'd you say?
Danny Garcia.
Well, I can use Danny way better than fucking Algieri. Thank you. So Danny Garcia, Ugas, and Lamont Peterson with faces Jeff Horn, Jose Benavidez, and Mean Machine.
Can I give you a pushback a little bit, wrong?
What's that?
I think you can't use Jeff Horn. He beat Pacquiao. So I think he would, and that's the Pacquiao. I think that's the one who had just beat Keith Thurman, right? Or he lost to Keith. I mean, he
No,
fought
that's
Keith Thurman
before.
afterwards.
That's before.
So Jeff Horn beat Pacquiao,
Right.
And with Mean Machine, we seen what he did with what's my boy, man, the Hispanic guy from San Antonio. I think he's from San Antonio.
Rob,
Dallas.
Rob,
Virgil
that
Ortiz.
that Pacquiao got robbed against
Man, Pacquiao, it didn't supposed
against
to be close. It didn't even supposed Pacquiao supposed to did
hey
it like he did
man.
Cotto on them.
Pacquiao was old, Rob. You can't. That's an
Man,
old Pacquiao.
you seen what he did to Thurman afterwards? He beat Thurman after. What could he do? Who would a better fighter? We messing up Tyrone thing, but who the better fighter? Horn or Thurman? You see
Thurman
what he
for
did to
sure.
Thurman.
But what we said happened. We said against Horn he got robbed, right?
What he did, that's what I'm saying. He didn't even leave it in the judge's hand
It
against
was a
Thurman.
good performance. Yeah, no, it was a good performance against Thurman. But
So he should have did that against Horn.
I
It ain't
don't
like
know.
if he lost to
He was
Thurman,
in
then I
Australia,
agree.
in fairness, though, he was in that man's hometown. How, why, don't know, but he was in
You know how they
Australia.
Bob
go over
Aaron.
there.
Bob,
You
we
know how
know
they go
Bob
over
Aaron
there.
did that. Bob
Yeah.
Aaron did that.
Oh, wrong.
Because he knew
You ain't
Pacquiao
gonna
was going
put
to lose. Yeah,
Mikey.
go
You
ahead,
ain't gonna put
finish.
No, I'm not. I'm
wrong.
not
You ain't
going.
gonna put Mikey on there.
I'm not gonna put Mikey. I'm gonna keep him. I mean, I could put Mikey there, but I could put Mikey there, but I'm sticking strictly 140 guys or whatever.
But yeah,
140. But
that was my thing was
I
with them
could
two
I could
guys.
I just felt like putting Ndongo and the rest of them guys on the Ndongo not gonna don't beat
No, he not beating
Ndongo
nobody.
don't beat Danny Garcia and Ndongo don't beat Mikey, so I just felt like I feel like Jeff Horn is a better argument to say that he could possibly have a chance with those guys.
And Green Machine too.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
we seen what he did.
I would say Mean Machine, but Mean Machine just had a draw with Ray Robinson.
Man,
And
maybe he's not the same. You see,
Ugas mopped the floor with Ray Robinson because like man beat the hell out of him, like
but
dropped him, knocked him
styles
out.
make
That's
fights.
true. That's what I was getting at with that's what I was gonna say with the Pacquiao and Thurman thing. Because at the end of the day, you got to beat the man to beat a man, and Pacquiao beat Thurman. That made him become the man. Similar to Tio. Tio just came off a loss to Cambosis. Who would have thought he was gonna beat Josh Taylor? You know what I mean? So
Right.
I mean, it's just one of them things. Like like I feel like that bolsters Cambosis' career more because Tio has shown that okay, that's a great win for Cambosis. Even though he lost to Haney twice, he lost to only Haney twice. He beat Tio, you know what I'm saying? Who went on to beat the guy in the next weight division. So I look at it from a resume standpoint as far as who you fought, when did you fight him, and when did you beat him. Um, I give Errol the edge, but like I said, I'm tough on that. I nitpick resume, so I got 7.5 for Errol Spence, and I got a 6.5 maybe for Bud, and that's just because of the lack of competition. But with his skill set, he overpowered, man. He really is. So, I mean, that's not necessarily something he can help. I only knock him for the 147 stuff or whatever. But as far as his overall accomplishments, he's a Hall of Famer, man. But I think, man, we pushing the hour on this one, man. So we gonna go ahead and close this one out, bro. But yeah, I feel like this is a good discussion, man. We can continue this one. Man, we can talk about this one all day, man.
For sure. I like this one. This was a good one.
Before we close the show, I had man, Ron. I was trying not to ask it, but I gotta ask it. I know you gave early 7.5. Why did you give him a 7.5 on his resume?
7.5. Okay, so the 7.5, what I do when it comes down to resume, I give you credit for the win. I even give you credit if you lose to a certain opponents, it's by who you fought. But I also grade what was your performance in those wins, or in those losses. You get a knockout loss, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna give you that much credit for fighting that guy, So being that he doesn't have any losses, Sean Porter was a tough victory for him, and Kell Brook was a tough victory for him. Even though I really had him, I didn't feel like that Kell Brook fight was that close after the first 4 or 5 rounds, me personally. And if you go look up the official scorecards, like they actually had Earl up on every scorecard. So, and that was out there in Kell Brook's hometown. So I give him a 7.5 to him because of let's say like with the Mikey Garcia fight. I remember around that time when me and Rob was out there to go see that fight. I think Rob and I think who that was, you and T Rob. Y'all was saying y'all.
Nah, man, I missed the bet. I didn't get a chance to get the bet. If that's what you're talking about. I didn't. Kobe went up under my nose and took the bet from me.
No, it wasn't a bet. Y'all was talking about like the pound for pound list or whatever, like Earl being pound for pound. And I was like, I didn't have Earl at that time. I said I wouldn't have him as my top 5. And that obviously is not because I don't like Earl, but it's like I didn't want to diminish him beating Mikey. I expected him to. The way he beat him impressed me. I didn't expect him to beat him that way at all. But at the same time, from a resume standpoint, Mikey resume, his biggest wins was Robert Easter and Adrian Broner, and I don't think that much of Adrian Broner. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, like, that version of Adrian Broner.
I mean, I've never been high on Broner, Rob. You know,
man, Broner was a weight bully. If Broner could have stayed at 35 and then went to 40, he let his body change. Broner could have been still the Broner. He could have still been the man. It was Broner's fault.
Possible.
Broner went up, trying to be Floyd too fast.
Yeah. But but Tim, with that, I'm just saying, like my thing is neither one of these guys be the Hall of Famer to have a 9 or a 10 as far as how I feel. Ugas is the guy who be the Hall of Famer in Pacquiao, even though he may have been old or whatever. Regardless, Ugas still got that win. Jeff Horn got a win against Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? So, that's not saying I don't think they could have beat Pacquiao. I'm just saying that as far as I can only base
Pacquiao in his prime. No, Pacquiao in his prime. No way. Both of them getting stopped.
Yeah, I don't.
Jeff Horn getting stopped in like 4 rounds.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Earl or Bud beat a prime Pacquiao, man. The way that dude was fighting, I don't know.
There's too much power and speed, but it'd
be crazy. It'd be tough for him. I say that. I don't know if they'll stop him. They might be able to beat him and outscore him. Maybe I'll point him, but it'd be crazy though. But yeah, for me, I feel like whoever wins this fight, they automatically their resume for me goes to at least a 9. Whoever wins this fight between the two, I feel like that's.
Why 9, bro? I just put it at a 10. I mean, bro,
well, that's why I say at least. That's why I say at least a 9.
Oh, at least. Okay, at least. Yeah, that's yeah. Because I mean, bro, you fighting the next best person in the sport in both y'all in y'all prime, man.
Right.
There's no other mountain to climb, really. You fought the best in the sport. You beat the best in the sport, so it's not really another mountain to climb.
I disagree with that, Rob. They got a couple different ones from a couple other different weight classes that you can maybe can throw in. You got Tyson Fury and you got Jamel Charlo. So I don't want to say it, but you said the best in boxing?
As far as they around their weight. They pound for pound number 1, and I mean, for most people, they won 1 through 3. Both of them 1 through 3.
No. I agree. They top 5. I agree. They top 5 for sure. Good.
Tyson Fury can only fight in one weight class. Earl and Bud can fight in multiple weight classes. That's why I put them up there.
Put heavyweights in my pound for pound.
They can only fight in one weight class.
It don't translate for them.
I think Fury got the skills to move around. I just looking at his
skills. He's not disciplined enough to drop the weight. So the only way Fury can go is to cruiserweight, and he can't drop the weight enough. So that I know he can't get down.
I'm just going off skills.
Fury. I think his size more than his skill is the problem. The dude's 6'9", 280 pounds, and he's taller than everybody, he's bigger than everybody, and then he can move like everybody. So I think his size is what's the problem. Like, look, just crazy going to different sports like LeBron though. How fast and big he is. You never seen it before. Just the same thing with Fury. It's just how fast, how big and fast he is. We never see. It's like a freak. Them dudes are freaks of nature, bro. Both the Tyson Fury and LeBron, they're a freak of nature, you know. So yeah, that's my thing with that. But no, I agree with you. But Tyson Fury, his ass big, he can't drop no weight.
Heck
But
yeah,
that's
man. But yeah, we gonna go ahead and wrap this one up, y'all, man. We pushing that time limit, man. But yeah,
man.
Man, this was like Rob was saying, man. This was like y'all both were saying, man. This was a good one right here, man. Fans, honestly, man. I don't even want to say fan supporters, man. We honestly, man. Me and the fellas talk, man, and we had a plan on coming on here, getting this out the way in about 15 minutes, man. This ended up being a way longer than we expected, man. But we definitely hope y'all enjoyed us, man.
Man,
Like
it
I
could have been
said,
longer, man, but we do have jobs, so
yeah,
we got to get some sleep and stuff. But it could definitely, we could have stretched this to 3 hours if if we was off and chilling, probably in person with each other, man. We could have stretched this thing to 3 hours.
oh
But
yeah,
anyway, hey, man, we want y'all to like, comment, subscribe, please. We want comments too. We want y'all to comment on everything. We're gonna respond. We're gonna give feedback, man. We're gonna have discussions. Let's have the discussion. Let's have the conversation, man. And get in the comment section. We're gonna respond, man. Whichever one. I'm Rob. We got Tyrone and Tim. If you want to question something that we said, you know, I'm pretty sure you can figure out our voices. You'll know who you want to ask a question to, and we're gonna get that person to respond to your question. Or y'all can debate a little bit if that's necessary. So, man, we want to appreciate y'all for sure. I'm Rob.
I'm your boy Tim.
I'm wrong and we out.
Yes,
We
sir.
out.